I just made this back axle. It's just a 5/8 rod and I welded this nut on the end for the one side, and then I drilled it for these grease fittings, and they'll come out here to grease those bushings. And on this side I'll just use a locking collar, and if I have trouble with it spinning, I'll just tack weld the locking collar onto the frame here, like that. So that should work good. I'll do the same thing for the front, I guess. So this is how I align chains. You can't have the chain on it because that just screws up your sight, but I look across the sprocket here at the widest point down towards the axle, and looking forward up to the clutch sprocket, align up each side with each side of the clutch sprocket, and do it on the bottom here too, because sometimes it's a little off. You look up forward to the clutch there. And get it straight. And it should be pretty good. That's how I do it. Seems to work good. Yep, got that axle in there. So I don't think I'm gonna have to tack weld this locking collar because this nut's big enough to grab on there. So that should be good. Alright, now I'm gonna re-drill those engine holes. See, the old ones are over there. I'm gonna make new ones over here. Drill some holes and connect the dots. I use this thing to grind between them. And then if it's not enough, I'll use the Dremel to finish it off. Alright, I got real lucky on these forks. I got them off this pocket bike I had kicking around for a couple of years. I was thinking about doing something with it, but it's probably more work than it's worth to try to fit a normal engine on there. It's a decent frame though. It had the front and rear suspension, but I don't know. I'll figure out something else with it. But they were perfect for this. The length here was perfect, and the length here was perfect, and even the bearings fit in there and everything. So all I had to do was make some bars, handlebars. Made them so they bolt right in there, like that. Should be good. And I made sure the lowers come apart so they're just halfway stuck back together, because when I weld on here I didn't want to burn up the bushings in there. So I tacked on the engine mounts there, front and back. I still got to put the angle iron from the front to back there to mount the engine on. But they got these little springs that go in there. So that's the front suspension. They sit down in here. Yeah, looks pretty cool. And I'm gonna make the tank up here somewhere. I got this thing all strung up. I was doing that so I could see where to put the mount. And yeah, before I found that in my shed, I was gonna make them from scratch. I already made the triple trees here and cut the springs, but I couldn't figure out. I looked through all my pipes and stuff, and I couldn't find ones that I really liked to do it, because I was going to use a smaller pipe, like this size for the lowers, but then these would sit on top so they wouldn't slide in, and that would make this end up too far up, because I only wanted the fat part to go up to the top of here. So to make that engine mount high up, I would have to, if I wanted to do that with the smaller lowers, I would have to have it low like this, the slidey part down there, or not quite that low, but you know, so that wouldn't work like that, so I would have to use a fatter lower pipe so I could slide these springs inside the lower one, and then I'd be able to mount it higher like that, instead of, you know, down here like that. Does that make sense? So let me see. So yeah, glad I found those in the shed. I got lucky with that. And how I would mount these springs, I would just take just a normal piece of metal like this and make it fit in the, I'll draw it on something else, like this. I'm real prepared now, aren't I? Alright, so that's how I would make the spring mounts there. So I could take a plate like this and screw the spring onto it like that, so then I could bolt through the plate to keep it into the pipes so they wouldn't pull out and in. But I didn't have to do any of that, so save that for another project. Yep, but it's going well. I just gotta cut the angle iron to mount the engine on there and get that positioned in place, and then I can fully weld it all onto there. So it's looking good. I got those angle mounts welded in place there. They look alright. They're like 1 inch by about an 1/8 inch right angle. Lines up pretty good. Alright, now make doubly sure that's all in the right place, and then weld it up, and that'll be done. Alright. I'm going to put this little right angle piece of pipe on the muffler here to route it around out the hole, so it doesn't blow all over the frame. I think that should work. And this isn't the seat I'm going to use. I'm going to probably make a long one. Like, I was thinking, might even make it all the way to the front. Make a pivot up here with a hinge. And then put the shocks down here. Move the shock mounts down. And have some long shocks there up to the seat. So it'll be a long surfboard seat. I think that might look interesting. Alright. Till next time. See you later, guys.